Izumi Masamune remembers the first time he met his younger sister. On a sunny day, his mom came home with a little girl clutching her clothes. The little girl had long white hair and her cheeks were as red as tomatoes as she hid behind the mother. Izumi's parents introduced the little girl as his sister Sajiri and later asked him to take care of her. Izumi agreed, and he later approached her to greet her gently. The little girl then replied to him saying, "Nice to meet you, big bro," but that was the last time he had ever seen his little sister again. Slumped on the computer table, Izumi wakes up and gets ready for the day. He is slowly preparing breakfast when he hears a loud thump from the kitchen ceiling. This is Sajiri, signaling for him to bring her some food. He immediately sets some food on the tray and walks up the staircase. He gently knocks on Sajiri's door, hoping that his sister will come out, but she doesn't. He sighs, leaves a tray at the door and gently walks away. The tray contains a teddy bear with a note saying, "Please come out of your room so I can see your face." Izumi is in his first year of high school, and so he sets off to school just like the other kids. On the other hand, he works as a part-time light novel author. The only family he has left is Sajiri, who stays locked in her room after a strange incident that happened a year ago. Since then, Sajiri has never spoken to anyone else. Izumi only wished that she could come out of her room so that he could see her face. Izumi is serious about his writing career, which he started while in middle school. His partner, Eromanga Sensei, is the one who draws the steamy illustrations in his novels, and even though these two have been working together for 3 years now, all their interaction was online. Recently Izumi had his first autograph session and he doesn't hide his name. His pen name is still his real name with his first name written in katakana. Even though he had his first fan meet, most of his classmates are still unaware. This seems good for Izumi until he reads a comment on his website saying how messy his signature is. This brings him down and he decides to stay in a bookstore for the day. Tomore the keeper comforts him by telling him that this is the price of fame, to which Izumi replies by saying that he's not even famous. Tomoe then tells him that dissing someone like him won't increase any blog's page views. When Tomoe looks at the blog post, she recognizes that Eromanga Sensei was the one who wrote it. There was a lot of dissing, which is strange, because Izumi didn't know what he had done wrong to a person he had never met. It then turns out that Eromanga will be streaming live later on in the day. Back at home, when Izumi is in the kitchen, he hears Sajiri's feet thump, and he happily brings food to her door, sure that she wouldn't show up to pick it up. Like before, there is a bunny with a note from her brother, this time asking what food she likes. Izumi then heads to his room and prepares to join the live stream. It wasn't long before the stream started with an animation of a young girl with a big head and a cute voice holding a placard. Most fans began commenting on her stream, but she gets annoyed when they call her by her pen name. She tells her fans that today's drawing won't be dirty and starts narrating that she'll be drawing Ben Usagi, that a girl from one of Izumi Sensei's Silver Wolf of Reincarnation, as she shares her screen with the audience. This is one of Eromanga's favorite characters in the series, and she shares her frustration and aggression towards Izumi for being so cruel and mercilessly killing the character. Izumi sighs at this, because the book is a battle-focused series and he can't help it. As she was dissing Izumi, Eromanga, who was in her darkroom, took a snapshot of her behind and started applying the form and shape to her drawing, which she quickly drafted. However, she said that this would not be a dirty illustration. Eromanga apologizes for missing Izuma's fan meet and clarifies to her fans that she does not know his real identity. However, she came upon Izumi's signature, which is so ugly. However, Eromanga finishes her illustration and asks her viewers what she should do next. She gave the fans options on her screen and asked them to choose. As Izumi looks at Eromanga, he notices at the back of Eromanga's room is a food tray with the same stuffed bunny and exact note he had put for Sagiri. That as he thinks of what to do, Eromanga bids her fans farewell and stops the live stream. but she does not notice that it hasn't stopped. Eromanga then removes her mascot head and the fans become more interested as they see her petite body. Eromanga then moves away from the screen and slowly takes off her clothes. On seeing this, Izumi rushes to her door and shouts at her to turn off her camera. Shortly after, the live stream ended and Izumi fell in amazement. Satire then slowly opens her door, surprising Izumi. The two look at each other and they are reunited for the first time in a long time. Izumi quickly says that Satire is Eromanga Sensei, but Satire denies this. Izumi places his foot at the door, but Satire keeps pulling it at in sheer desperation. Izumi says that Eromanga's illustrations are amazing, especially the one she did on her live stream. This makes Satire blush, and there is a moment of silence between them. However, when Izumi says that her illustrations are dirty, she screams no and holds her phone, shoving it in Izumi's face to make him go away. She then slammed the door on him. The next day, Izumi visited his editor, who started ranting about being tired for the past few days and not getting enough sleep. On the other hand, Izumi submits piles of fully written manuscripts, making the editor even more furious. In addition, Izumi also adds a script in case it turns into an anime. The editor then comments saying Izumi has changed since a year ago. Izumi then said that writing was a hobby before, but now he needs the money. As he says this, he thinks of Satire locked up in her room to raise Izumi's spirits. She hands him an envelope with a congratulating message from Eromanga Sensei in a rush. He runs home and knocks on Satire's door, but there is no response. This leads him to introduce himself as Izumi Masamune, the author of Silver Wolf of Reincarnation. Satire immediately opens a door, smashing Izumi in the face with it. She immediately confirms with him that this is true, but when asked, she denies being Eromanga Sensei. When she asked whether it's wrong to be Eromanga, he assures her that it's okay and is happy to meet her. Out of nowhere, Satire asks Izumi to enter the room and he is taken aback by her tidy room. When he pats her on the head, she moves away and tells him not to do that again. She then commands Izumi to sit on the floor, which she does. Since Siguriya itself spoken, Izumi gets closer to hear her, but she disapproves, wearing her headset with the microphone to help her communicate with him. However, they are both shocked that the writer and illustrator live under the same roof. Izumi apologizes to Satire for making her draw lewd art for the past 3 years. However, she gets mad at this and it seems that she does not like hearing the word pervy, saying that you're not supposed to say that to a girl, and even though Izumi does not hear what she is saying, he agrees not to repeat it. Turns out that Satire was holding a grudge, saying that Izumi never give her meals during summer break, no matter how hard she thumped the floor. Izumi then explains that his writings were turned down, so he had to work double time. Izumi then says he enjoys seeing her blogs and streams because she has a different personality from how he knows her. Satire then tells him she loves drawing. While chatting with people watching her streams, she started drawing because of their mother who taught and praised her. However, after her death, she lost motivation to do it. She couldn't even leave her room. However, one day she saw someone on the internet drawing happily while chatting with everyone and she became jealous. So this is when she started doing it. It brings her joy when the people she's conversing with compliments her. In similar fashion, Izumi also recalls, when he started writing, he saw other people posting their stories on the internet and decided to try it. He was thrilled when he got his first fan mail. Izumi is happy he can talk to Satire now, but Satire has doubts. She keeps wondering why Izumi won't leave her alone, to which he says that he promised their mother to take care of her and provide someone to have meals with. Will Izumi tell Satire that their family? Her mood suddenly changes. Eventually, Satire tells the Izumi to leave her room because she doesn't want to talk anymore. Shortly after, Izumi leaves the room, but that is after he says thank you for the congratulatory illustration she sent him. The next day, Gino Megumi introduced herself to Izumi as Sagiri's classmate and class representative. She even approaches Izumi and stands too close to his face, making him slightly nervous. Shortly after, Megumi starts being a little flirty and cute with his Izumi, but he is unbothered by this. This makes her wonder whether Izumi is gay because he doesn't seem to fall in love with her at first sight. However, he only thinks about his younger sister, who is prettier than Megumi. After a little fooling around, Megumi tells Izumi that she wants Sagiri to return to school. After a while, Izumi knocks on Sagiri's door, but instead of answering, she calls his phone. Sagiri refuses to come out and wants Izumi to chase the visitor away, but since that would be impolite, he has to find a way to do it. With that, Sagiri makes Izumi wear an earbud and tells Megumi exactly what she says. Izumi and Megumi start talking about Sagiri always being in her room. When Megumi asks Izumi to sit next to her on the sofa, Sagiri is annoyed on the other end. When Sagiri hears that Megumi wants to be friends with her, she exclaims her hatred for hypocrites who force their kindness on others. Megumi then says that if you have friends, you don't need the internet, as Sagiri spends most of her time there. Hearing all this, Sagiri burst into anger, shouting at Izumi. This causes Izumi's ear to hurt, and Megumi realizes that Sagiri is listening. After realizing this, Megumi starts flirting with Izumi, knowing that Sagiri is listening, and after it gets heated, they hear a loud thump upstairs. Megumi then takes Izumi's phone and introduces herself to Sagiri before she hangs up. Seeing this, Megumi asks what kind of girl Sagiri is, and Izumi describes her, but little did Izumi know that behind her hands Megumi was holding her phone, which was on call with Sagiri. But since Izumi does not know this, he continues to describe her. Later that day, after Megumi left, Izumi received a call from his editor saying that all his proposals were rejected. This saddens him, but it gets worse when he stops by Tomoya's bookstore only to find out his novel stock is still complete the following day. But when he tries to place him at the top of the pile, Tomoya scolds him, saying that she prefers to put Yamada Elf Sensei's autographed copies on the recommendation shelves. When Izumi goes to the office to submit the proposals, he finds his editor arguing with a little girl who later turns out to be Yamada Elf Sensei herself. Yamada then confidently says that she wants Eromanga Sensei to draw her next series. Izumi is against this, since the two are partners, but Yamada insists. However, when Yamada asks the editor for help contacting Eromanga, she refuses, telling her that her novels could be better. When Izumi goes home, he takes some snacks for Sagiri, and as he's shouting at Sagiri from the door swings open, hitting his face. Sagiri receives her gifts, but does not seem too pleased with them. The next day, as Izumi was working on his laptop, he heard voices outside shouting his sister's name. And when he looks out, he finds that Megumi and her classmates are chanting and yelling, wanting Sagiri to go back to school. Knowing how Sagiri would react to this, he rushes outside to send them away. But no matter how hard he screams, they all look at him like he's crazy. He politely asked him to go, and they do. Megumi then stays behind to hand over a parcel placed at their gate. But when she asked why it was not given directly to them, Izumi explains that the neighborhood is rumored to be cursed, even saying that the house next to them was haunted. He said an author once died there and that they could hear the piano being played from time to time. Later, when Izumi knocks on Sagiri's door, she opens it scared and sobbing. Sagiri tightly hugs him, saying that she can hear the piano music from the haunted house. After listening keenly, Izumi also hears it. The only way to find out who plays the piano is by going there. But when he goes to the house and rings the doorbell, he finds that Yamada is playing the piano. When he asked why she's playing the piano naked, she quickly dresses and bursts out the front door, yelling at Izumi. It appears as though Yamada has moved into the neighborhood. She boasts about her newly bought mansion and even takes Izumi around. As they were just arguing, they ended up arguing about their writing styles. It even gets to a point where Yamada mocks Izumi's novels. Eventually, they make a deal to write a novel each and let Eromanga Sensei choose the best. After Izumi left Yamada's house, he apologized to Saguri, who was angry that he had taken so long. As Izumi was assuring her that there was nothing to be afraid of, Yamada started throwing sticky arrows at Saguri's window. As Izumi was confronting Amanda for this at the window, he dropped his pants and exposed his buns, at which Yamada aimed and shot an arrow at him. Saguri, jealous of the fact that Izumi is close to another girl, tells Izumi to get out of her room and even calls him a perv. The next day, as Izumi was going home from the bookstore, Yamada invited him to her mansion to brag about her office and her veranda with a great view. Izumi then realizes that he can see Saguri in her room, where she is happily drawing. As Yamada was talking about contacting Eromanga, she said that if Eromanga did not reply to her emails, she would ask Saguri to draw for her. This was after seeing Saguri happily drawing.